You've come for clarity. Best thing ever. When you don't have contradiction in your thought, then you have clarity. When you say, I want this, however, it hasn't come yet, that's not clarity, that's resistance. When you say, I like this about it, but not this about it, that's sifting and sorting, but it's not clarity. It might be the beginning of clarity, and it might be necessary to the clarity that comes later, because sometimes you have to move about a bit in order to become clear. But clarity is the same vibrational nature that appreciation is, or love. Sometimes when people say, I love you, or do you love me, they're more focused upon the absence of the love than they are the presence of it. And so, rather than just throwing these emotional words around, we would like to explain briefly, because we know you're mostly up to speed with us. We'd like to explain briefly that your emotions are always your indicator, and the indicator that the more sensitive to your emotion you are, the better. Your emotions are your indicator of your clarity. They are your indicator of your alignment with your broader perspective. And that's the part that does sometimes require some explanation, because most don't understand how emotions can even exist. Most people don't realize that they live in a vibrational world and that they themselves are vibration. You are emanators of vibration. But you are also, just to complicate it a little more, you are also more than you sitting here in this body. You are source energy at the same time that you are you sitting here in this body. And there is an ongoing, eternal connection between you and you while you're here in this physical body. In other words, you were source energy before you presented yourself here. And even though a part of who you were as non-physical energy did come into this body, the larger part of you remains as that source of the energy that is you. So that non-physical part of you, sometimes humans refer to that part of you as your soul, and we think that's a perfectly fine label. But it's this never-ending, ongoing energy stream that comes to you in your physical body from source energy. And so that part of you is active and present and aware of what you're thinking about in any moment you're thinking about anything. So the easiest way to say it is when you are having a conversation with someone, and in that conversation you have an opinion about something, your inner being is involved in that conversation too and has an opinion about it. And your emotions are the alignment or resistance, the sameness or difference between how your inner being feels about whatever it is you're focused upon in the now and how you feel about it. It's important to understand that even though your inner being is what you want to call non-physical, because you can't see or hear or smell or taste or touch that, your inner being is still present in the now. It's like Esther remembers the first time that they went to Australia. And it was very odd to call back to the office because it was yesterday back there. And Esther would say to them, well, we're living your future and you're going to like it when you get there. But of course, it was all now. It was all now. She was pretty sure that she was talking in real time to those who were back at the office. And so we want you to focus the same way about your inner being. Your inner being is focused in your now. And the emotion that you feel is about that vibrational variance or not. So when you feel clarity, you're right on vibrational pitch with your inner being. When you feel clarity, you're right there. When you feel confusion, You're looking at something different than your inner being is. When you feel love, you're right there with your inner being. When you feel hatred or anger, no. When you feel stability, yes, same as your inner being. When you feel unsteadiness, not the same. And so your emotions will help you to know. We think it is an important thing to know because it would be like having all of these resources of love and knowledge and not utilizing them. Just say, no, I'm out on my own. I'm out on the raw and ragged edge on this. It would be like knowing things that you deliberately don't focus into being just because you thought you'd wing it. It would be like getting in your car and putting blindfolds on and say, I've driven to work for 10 years. Surely I can make it without looking where I'm going. It would be like getting your toaster on your counter in your kitchen and putting the bread in it, pushing it down, but refusing to plug it in. I just don't think I need that extra bother. So you go through all the motions, you still carefully take the bread out and unwrap it and put it in the little slots and push it down and wait, and wait, and wait. But you don't get toast. You get bread. And so we know it may seem like a silly analogy, but from our perspective, that's how a good number of the people of your planet are living. They're not plugged in. They're not tuned in, tapped in, turned on. They are not utilizing the resources. And it isn't because they don't want the clarity or the guidance or the help. It's that they have forgotten that they are vibrational and they don't know what their emotions are telling them. And here's a big reason. Most are reacting to a condition rather than choosing the way they mean to feel. So these are the things that we like to talk about with you because we want to help you to find that steady place that is really you. We want you to focus the fullness of who you are into your conversations, into the things that matter to you. Because while you may not remember it, you are a powerful creator. And you came into this leading edge time-space reality because you understand that this is the leading edge, that all that has come before is focused out here on this leading edge with you, that the combination of those of you who are living here together are going through this contrast, through this variety, and from it, you are each individually and therefore collectively coming to your leading edge conclusions about what would be an improvement. And even if you don't speak those words, you launch those vibrational rockets. They emanate from you constantly. And those vibrational rockets in this vibrational atmosphere create a vibrational reality that really is present tense. It doesn't seem like it's present tense to those of you who are translating through your physical senses because this early rocket of desire hasn't manifested. It hasn't been translated by you or realized by you through your physical senses. But it exists and it is real time. It is now. But from your perspective, there is more that will happen with this desire that you have given birth to before you can see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, before it is mature enough, maybe, but mostly before you are of the vibrational frequency of readiness to see it, to see it. A woman told us a story last weekend. She wanted to come to this gathering, didn't have the money to come, either to travel or for the ticket. But she really wanted to come, so her desire was in a clear place. And she didn't let herself get discouraged. She talked about how she kept wanting to come and believing that she would while not knowing how. Now you see, that's a perfect vibrational stance. To hold a desire without weakening it with doubtful thoughts. She wasn't saying to herself, oh, I won't be able to make it, or I don't know where I will find the money. She was just saying simply, I want to attend. I want to be there. I want to be there. So we've been describing this like, picture a train track with a train on the track, and the track is on very level ground. It's not on a hill, it's on a level ground, and each time you identify a desire, it's like you plunk an engine, a strong engine, on this end of your track. But if at the same time that you identify your desire, you also add, but I don't know how it's going to come about, or I can't possibly do that to it, you put an equal engine on the other end of the track. So now you've got two engines pulling against themselves, and it makes you feel tension, and it also keeps you from going toward what you want. But this girl did not do that. She had clear desire about what she wanted and did not put any engines on the other end of the track. And then she was walking with a friend through a park, and they were talking about law of attraction and about the seminar and high on life, and she looked in the leaves and she saw something that was sort of flickering and shiny, and she picked it up, and it was an earring. Looked like a diamond. And her friend said, can't be real. Look how big it is. It can't be real. It must be a CZ diamond. But it wasn't. It was a $9,000 diamond. And so she came to the seminar. At the same seminar, another girl is explaining to us that she also wanted to come. Couldn't figure out how she was going to get here. We were in Chicago because she was in a different city. But a friend of hers hooked her up with some standby tickets. And so she went to the airport in her city, and this friend had managed to get her to be able to go through the security the fast way. And so she was feeling very good, and she went to the gate to get her seat assignment, but that flight was full, and since she was flying standby, she didn't get on. But she was still believing that she would, and so then the next flight came up, and she is still flying standby, but she didn't get on. And so now she is beginning to wonder. She calls her friend who's in another city, just getting ready to board her flight, and she says, well, so far I haven't gotten on. And her friend said, well, maybe you could fly to New York, because there are more flights from New York to Chicago. Maybe you could fly to New York, and then you could get to Chicago. So she went to the service center, and she is asking if she might fly to New York so that she might be able to get on a plane there. And the new ticket agent said, where are you trying to go? And she said, Chicago. And she said, wait a minute, I think I've got a plane going there. Hold on, let me look. And she had a plane that had just come out of service or something and was going to Chicago. And so she said, I can get you on. So the girl went to the gate, got on the airplane, and she was the only passenger on the plane. She said the flight attendants were all there, the pilots were all there. So the flight attendant stood right in front of her and did the safety announcement to her. And then the pilot came on the intercom and said, ma'am. So she managed to get a private jet to Chicago. Because she only had engines on the desire end of the train. And that's the thing we so want to explain to you.